Hold on. Oh my goodness. Okay, my goodness. Did that work? There we go. All right, now I'm in chat. Now I'm in. Here I am. Here we go. I don't know what that's gonna look like. Oh my goodness. What was that? What happened here? Oh man. Where did you chat, Michael? Where did you put those chats? Because I got them. Oh man. Okay, I think I see what happened here. Alrighty. Oh boy. All right, let's start that over again. Hello, everyone. I am Blaine, your titular hero of the Blaine's Escape Corner, our little corner of the internet where we get together and talk about the things that help us escape. The things that help me escape, of course, are anime, video games, fishing, the like. You know what I like. You know, I like cars. I like Gundams. I'm an open book. You ask me a question, I'll give you an answer. And we're here to discuss that in any and every facet that we deem fit. For those that weren't on the original false stream, the fake stream, the fake out stream, I don't know what was going on yesterday, but I am feeling 1,000 times better today. I am blaming the tree pollen juices in the air. I'm gonna say that they messed me up and put me in a bad spot. So I am feeling much better today, much more excited. The negative to how I was feeling yesterday is I was telling the truth yesterday when I said, "Oh, tomorrow on Thursday I'll be able to go all night long." Today's not Thursday. Today's Wednesday. Wednesday's hyphenated stream day. Wednesday we cut a little short, but don't worry, I'm gonna pack a lot into this short time span. That's a promise. But no, indeed, on Thursday I will be able to go all night long. A sweet Susie. However, today, like I said, it is an abbreviated stream day, so I've got a lot of energy, and I'm going to use that energy to hit you hard, hit you fast, and let's get it going. Yep, Serranos, you knew it. You saw it yesterday. You were like, wait a minute, tomorrow's not Thursday. And I was like, I don't care. And I didn't even play the full outro yesterday. I was like, I can't sit here and wait for this to finish. And I just ended it. It was a rough one. It was a rough one. But now we're out of the rough one. I've got my Kampai tea right here because, of course, we are running that no alcohol. Maybe that's my problem. I don't have a very specific protein that comes in alcohol. We've figured out Blaine's problem. He's functional as an alcoholic in the fact that he needs alcohol to function. So maybe that's what we've identified here. I also found out in my review, because I've been going back over streams lately so that I can make shorts and stuff to upload on the channel. So I've been doing 3 shorts a day, or trying to. But the last night's stream, there wasn't a lot to pick from, so I didn't really do much. But I found out that when I was sharing the screen, it was still smooth on the ending. So is it choppy when I share screen? Like here, let me share our first story that I want to talk about tonight. Does the stream get choppy for you guys, or is it just the way that it sort of like shows me? Because like right now, my camera on Restream is very choppy chunky. But when I went and watched the YouTube video, it was perfectly smooth. It looked fine. Am I choppy chunky right now, stream? I'll ask you guys. Anyway, if I'm choppy chunky, I'll switch you over to the other style that I was using. But if I'm not, and it's just on my side, looks smooth to you. Okay. Okay. Well, as long as this gets, somewhat fixed by whatever, back end Ghibli bits works on the other end, we'll leave it like this because I prefer this angle. So we will do that. All right, everyone, thank you for being here tonight. Kampai, let's get into it. Alrighty, do we all let's get started with this first little story. We all remember Kyle McCarley, correct? We all remember, I'm not gonna be Mob in Mob Psycho because Crunchyroll doesn't want, a union contract. We recall this. His name's Kyle McCarley. He's the English dub actor for Mob in Mob Psycho, and he wasn't returning. He made that whole YouTube video where he said, I'm not returning because Crunchyroll wouldn't give me a dub contract. And then I saw this. And as you can see, someone else replied to it is how I saw this, because I don't think I actually follow him yet. Still literally who? Oh, that is the thing with dub actors, isn't it? They have got to be super prolific before you're like, oh yeah, yeah, I know that actor. You know, like it's really not an upfront and personal type thing. You're not like, oh yeah, that guy. That's like if you showed me this guy on the street, I just think it's just some other glasses, wheat goatee guy like me, and we'd just be like, hey, what's up, glasses, wheat goatee? We'd nod in the glasses, wheat goatee nod, and then go along our way, right? But here we have a thing, right? If you want to hear me in a Crunchyroll dub that was produced on a SAG-AFTRA contract, Mobile Suit Gundam Kukuru's Dones Island is in theaters tomorrow, and I had the opportunity to reprise my role as Hayato. Yeah, you're Chris Sabat. You're basically the people from the 2000s, right? If you're Sabat, Greg Aries, Steve Bloom, Vic Mignogna, Monica Rial, like there's a few names where you're like, oh yeah, I know that name, I know that actor. They did this in this role, right? I think it comes from a time when the dubs were smaller and, you know, they had more roles, so they were much more prolific as they went through. And then also the conventions were smaller, right? Like my first SakuraCon that I ever went to here in Seattle was, I think it was 15,000 attendees, and like the latest numbers are in like the 180s, and that's even with the koof going on. So I mean, the number of people showing up for these things is just exploded. So there's so many more people. It's just like, I don't know who all these people are. Just voice it and move on. We'll get through it. A dozen people you could link to those big hitters. Yep. But I saw this and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, because as you all know, sales is a thing that I've been in. I've done sales for guns, wherein we had federal paperwork that we had to fill out and maintain. I did sales for houses, where we had, statewide contracts and sometimes federal contracts and other kinds of contracts that we had to read and handle and do. I have done contract work for delivery companies, right? I'm very well versed in contracts and contract negotiation. I'm not a lawyer, but I can read a contract and I can tell you what it means and what it does and how it's going to do, right? Or what's expected of you, at least, right? If Crunchyroll is going to say no to a Mob Psycho SAG-AFTRA contract, why would they say yes to a Mobile Suit Gundam contract? Can I get any answers in the chat as to why they think that Crunchyroll, this Crunchyroll dub that was produced on a SAG-AFTRA contract, happened for Mobile Suit Gundam, but will not happen for Mob Psycho? Any ideas? Any thoughts? If you're watching this as a recording after the fact, send a comment below, and just I'll trust you not to read ahead. Give it just a few seconds for people to filter an idea out, because you're like, okay, yeah, wait a minute, why wouldn't that be? Why? It's not up to them. Ooh, that's a good idea. Okay. What else? Does anyone else have an idea? You don't see how Sabat's popular. So you have to realize Sabat as a person has that same sort of charisma as like an Alex Jones. There's something about incredibly gruff voices and that sort of like Sabat's not like a jacked dude, but he has like a very like man's man sort of aura about him, and that's a very charismatic thing for people. So when you meet him and you talk to him, you're like, oh, I get it. I see how people are like, wow, you're really cool, you're really great. Plus, he's got his company and everything else, and we know all that. Was the contract signed before he went all mental? I don't. Mental how? I like mental as in making a video saying they wouldn't sign a contract. Then yes, because this contract would have happened months ago in order to get the dub for this movie completed, right? Money. He's a voice actor when literally the only thing that matters about him is his voice. He sucked his Vegeta. I'm not saying that he's good in his roles, or that there's really anything to talking in a deep voice or anything like this. Like, you've all heard my Alex Jones thing, but there's people who just with that as their aura, like, can just attract people. It's very interesting how I think it's like a deep psychological thing. Like, I don't know, your mother's heartbeat when you're in the womb, but when you hear like a deep resonating sound, people just fall in line. You know, you get the Morgan Freemans, right? And you're just like, and he kept on digging through all the piles of shit, and you're like, oh wow, I'm gonna listen to this guy forever, and that kind of stuff just happens, and it's just a weird thing with humanity, I think. Let's quit guessing. Serranos, I'm gonna say you were right. I'm gonna say you got this one, okay? So I had to scroll through. I waded into these trenches of union poop, right? We've got a what the shit? I mean, that's cool, but what's their allergy then? I was like, okay, I think we need to see both contracts, because as someone who deals with contracts, I was like, oh, I need to see the contracts. You thought Bang Zoom was dubbing Gundam now? Well, Peter Venkman fan site, maybe you should think about that a little bit harder, because a Crunchyroll dub doesn't mean it's been recorded by Crunchyroll. Blah, blah, blah. Praise the unions. Unions are my god. Blah, blah, blah. It's most likely through Sunrise. The dub was recorded at NYAV Post. Crunchyroll are only distributing this film in NA. So, bing bang, boom-a-da boom boom. This tweet's not true. And this is part of my this is part of my like shouting anytime Fansite says something, just because I want to clarify this like every time. Just because High Dive has a show, just because Crunchyroll has a show, just because Crunchyroll's name is on a dub, just because High Dive or Sentai's name is on the dub, they may not be the people hitting record. And the people that are hitting record are the ones that are paying the voice actors. And so we have an instance in which he's saying this is a Crunchyroll dub. This is not a fucking Crunchyroll dub. This is an NYAV Post dub, right? It's not a Crunchyroll dub. Are there actors who are connected with Crunchyroll? Sure. But are they in the Crunchyroll / Funimation studio down in Texas hitting the record button? No, they're not. That's not what happens. And most dubs that you get are done at these other studios that you don't usually see the names of. Like, we know Bang Zoom. We know what's some of the older, well, I guess not older, but we know Omicron, right? We know some of these subcontractors that actually do the recording and the dub work and the voice work, right? And it doesn't, as you can see, that means that the person who's paying to do the distribution or paying to host the license, they're paying for the license to host on their website, they may not always have all their hands in the cookie jar. So why is this being like, oh, I'm gonna at Crunchyroll because now they'll see the SAG-AFTRA stuff? I don't know if that, because someone at Crunchyroll who knows what's up is gonna be like, yeah, that we didn't record that. Why would you tag us in it? That seems stupid. Very, very stupid. Orson Welles is Unicron. I think you mean Orson Welles in the Nika whiskey ad. You wouldn't be surprised if sometimes the person who put the script together is detached from the actual direction of the voice work either. So usually the way that the licensing works, if you're going to license the dub or the sub, is when you license it, you get a copy of the script translated. Like here's what our script says. Here's what everything is. So they get the immediate translation, but there's a lot of last minute in the booth changes that occur with lip flaps and that kind of thing in order to make it so that it lines up, it works better. Maybe there's just a more appropriate word than what was originally translated or whatever. His voice work in the Transformer movie was excellent. Yeah, but have you seen his Nika whiskey commercial? I love that thing. Whiskey. I didn't know about it until I was in like Japan's version of Alaska, Hokkaido up there, and I was in the Nika Whiskey Museum, and I was like, that's Orson Welles. What's he doing on the wall? It's crazy. Oh man. This will be your first non-UC show. Oh, are you talking about are you gonna watch the other one? So this is a movie that's coming out. Are you actually going to see that, or are you talking about the Witch from Mercury? Which, if you're talking about Witch from Mercury, I'd encourage you to watch Iron Blooded Orphans first. He was probably plastered too. Yeah, just like that wine commercial. Like how many takes on this? Here. The Mary Sue from Mars show. Okay, yeah. I love this. Share tab audio. Here we go.
Hello. I'm Orson Welles.
I'm Orson Welles.
I direct films
attracts you.
and act in them.
You're like, yeah, tell me more.
What we're always trying for, of course, is perfection. In a film, that's only a hope. But with G&G, you can rely on it. Perfection. G&G. Nika whiskey.
He had to like remember what the brand was. He was like, Nika whiskey. Oh, I love it. Between that one and the wine one where he's like, the French. Well, there's a wine that is made right in California. It's so funny. It's so good. All right, let's get that. Put it out on Twitter. Okay. All right. Where do I want to go with this next? Where did my beautiful article go? Are you guys ready for this one? Do you have any clue what we're about to go through? What we're about to read through? What we're about to here. Slap that like button for some Nika whiskey. Not all Nika guaranteed. See your local ordinances for age and drinking ability. All right. I tweeted about it. I told you about it. I warned you. You all knew what we were going to talk about tonight. Cyberpunk Edgerunners David Martinez is missing V's best trait. What is that trait, you say? The first thing you see when you wake up from dozing is Blaine's misunderstanding of stuff you know. I don't misunderstand stuff you know. You just don't use enough words to communicate. I get it. You understand how studios and dubbing works. I think you still have a bad take on the way that the functions at the end of the day. You don't want to live on this planet? I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Cyberpunk Edgerunners David Martinez has many traits in common with Cyberpunk 2077's V, but could have benefited from inheriting their queerness. What does queer mean? Let's look it up. Let's see what Google says queer means, because I don't understand why there's a Q in the LGBT spectrum thing with all the other letters. Queer meaning strange or odd. Often offensive of a person, homosexual. So wouldn't they be in the L or the G? Right? Like, aren't they covered under L and G? Why do we have to have a Q in the middle there? Why? Here, let's see. Maybe I can just type in, why is queer in the LGBTQIA US class? Boo, 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 boo. Yeah, what I hate about this is it's like queer or sometimes questioning. So which is it? Is it queer or is it questioning? I don't... And besides, if you're confused, why would that put you in a sexuality? I'm confused. They can't get rid of the Q because now it's QIA2S plus. 2 for two spirits, the Native American technique. Anyway. Spoilers! Oh no, you can't see the spoiler Gundam! Spoilers! I'll do a giant Gundam and I'll stare right at his Gundam dick while I'm reading this, and that way you know that it'll be okay. We'll make it through this together. Oh, they want to be queer and have their questioning too. Oh my god. V is the protagonist of Cyberpunk 2077 and the character that gamers play when they're on missions in the technologically advanced Night City. As V, players can choose one of 3 life paths for the character. Oh, so spoilers for both 2077 and Edgerunners here, I guess. They need the little tiny 2, so it's Q squared. Nomad and corporate nomad and street kid. Regardless of the life path the player chooses for V, their storyline more or less plays out the same way. Wow, did you even play the game? Nobody I've ever talked to says that. A mercenary named Jackie Wells and a netrunner named T-Bug. Oh, you couldn't call him that nowadays. And together, they steal the biochip called the Relic from Arasaka Corporation. The mission goes awry, and V, as the sole survivor of their team, installs the biochip into their neural network, which threatens their life. The rest of the gameplay is V taking on missions and finding a way to safely remove the biochip. The biochip. What are we going to do with this biochip? In this Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime by Trigger and Netflix, here we got some more spoilers. Oh, baby. David Martinez is the Latinx protagonist, but has a similar storyline to V. Originally, he starts out as an Arasaka Academy student to become, like, David Martinez in the show is notably male. Like, notably male, right? Like, that is a part of his character. Why can't we just call him Latino? He is the Latino protagonist. He's not an either-or protagonist. He is just one or the other right now, right? Like, he just is a dude. He gets even super jacked. Like, he gets crazy jacked. He probably even installs, like, an extra 2 inches in his pants just to have some more fun, you know? Every time you hear Latinx, makes you want to beat someone with a shoe. You mean La Chancla? They're going to come after you with La Chancla. Isn't that right, spoiler Gundam? Yes, they will come over you with La Chancla. Alrighty. He starts out as an Arasaka Academy student to become a corporate and becomes a street kid after he tragically loses his mother in a fatal car crash. David then becomes a nomad where he meets a mercenary named Maine and joins his Edgerunners team, eventually ascending to the role of team leader himself. From there, just like V, David starts taking on missions and gradually upgrades his body with multiple cybernetics. Despite having a similar storyline to V, David misses out on one of V's best traits. The latter is bisexual, non-binary individual. Why is that someone's best trait? Why would that be? Latinx, why so racist? It's the haircut. Oh no. And the fact that his mom is working hard to put him through school. When do we ever, like, it's one of my best traits, and we pick just like an entire chunk of the person. It's like, oh, their best trait is that they're a blonde. That's kind of a weird thing to say. Like, we do say their best trait physically could be their blue eyes, or maybe the fact that they've got massive wabos or a juicy booty. They got some cake, right? Like, we will pick like specific parts of a person from time to time, but like, when do we, their best trait is that they are white. Like, that's their best trait. Like, when do we ever pick like a giant category of somebody in order to say that that is their best trait? Like, someone's best trait, David's best trait is his can-do attitude and his like willingness to just keep going so that he can complete other people's goals and dreams. Like, that's his best trait, right? I feel like V's best trait is probably the fact that of whatever the gamer who's playing her has her do, right? Her best trait is her sharpshooting because I put more skill points into that. Her best trait, like, we have traits, right? I feel like choosing who you put your wee-wee in or let put wee-wee in you is not exactly a trait that we can be like, well, your best trait is that you're gay. Like, that's not a thing we say. That's not a thing that happens. It's not like, oh, wow, you're bisexual. That makes you the best trait. Oh, you're non-binary. That's your best trait. Congratulations. Like, who wrote this anyway? Told them to stop injecting their fantasies into articles. We have Diane Darcy, the writer, 4 hours ago. But like, usually with a character that you can connect with, like let's say that the non-binary and bisexuality of V was something more than just the game programmers trying to make it so that anyone could step into her shoes and feel, you know, If you're a dude, you could still sway ladies. If you can, by making her bisexual and non-binary, you're able to. She's more of a blank slate, right? Like those are two things where it's like you can love whoever you want and you can be whatever you want, basically, by having those things. So it's literally a video game thing. The point of those two things is that there is no characterization there, and anyone can put themselves in those shoes. The point of a show like Cyberpunk is not for me to put myself in the shoes of the person, but to watch someone else struggle with something and figure out how they got through it, and maybe apply some of the lessons that they learned or didn't learn to my own life, right? If someone told you your best trait is that you don't look Hispanic, you'd be confused. Yeah, so would I. Probably the same seals clapping for diversity. Your best trait is apparently your androgynous vibes. Your best trait is that when you chat, your name says Peter, and people think you're a dude, but you're probably a lady, and we don't really know that for a fact. At this point, really, your best trait's that you could maybe be an android or an AI of some kind. We don't really know. Just seems so like, look at this! Look at this! This is literally, like, the point of him getting into the Edgerunners is that he loves Lucy! He loved Lucy! That we made a show about this! While V in the Cyberpunk 2077 game can be played as either male or female, they're technically a gender non-conforming... Wait, what? Hold on. Am I going to learn something about Cyberpunk here? This is kind of a weird statement. While V in the Cyberpunk 2077 game can be played as either male or female, they are technically a gender non-conforming character. Though the male version of V has the appearance of a cisgender man and behaves like most male action heroes in RPGs, the female version of V has a more androgynous look and behavioral traits that can be attributed to both men and women. As such, female V does more to challenge gender norms in the Cyberpunk franchise, especially since they are still given a storyline, romantic relationships, and character developments in the game that are often afforded to cisgender male characters. This makes female V one of the standout characters of the Cyberpunk franchise. Oh! Okay, so let's break this down. Let's break down what we just read here. You can pick if V's a dude or a chick, right? So you pick a dude, action hero dude. You pick a chick, and they just tacked on some lady things to the same character, basically. So, like, you can pick one or the other. Doesn't necessarily make V non-binary. It's literally a binary. It's right here. Male version, female version. You get to pick. You choose your binary. You can't be non-binary when it's literally a one or other choice as to who V is. It's not like you pick, like, it's not like Twitter where you're like, oh, I want to be male, I want to be female, I want to be other. You don't have an other in the game. You are male or female. Sure, the female has a lot of masculine traits because it's a video game where you're running, you're shooting, you're jumping, you're doing all this traditionally masculine stuff. But guess what? We've had chicks do that in video games since Lara Croft, right? Might even go earlier than that if I dig down into like some game history, but like women action stars have been around for a while in video games, and especially in RPGs. Look at every RPG that's been made since what? I mean, I'm trying to think of just video games here and not go all the way back to like tabletop, because like Cyberpunk as a tabletop game probably has some pretty damn crazy like characters that people have made. These people choose to be they woke up and chose brain damage. Metroid. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Thank you for hitting me on that. I was trying to focus on RPG where you like play a role, but I guess you do like the leveling up with the different power techniques and stuff that you pick with with Samus. In the case of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, David Martinez, he's already a standout character in the sense that he's a Latino protagonist in an anime series, which in itself is incredibly rare. If we're gonna call anyone who isn't Japanese in anime an incredibly rare protagonist, that's literally everyone who isn't a Japanese schoolboy, right? Look at anime. Everyone is a Japanese businessman getting reincarnated in another world, or a Japanese high school student who's stuck in high school, or a Japanese idol girl who's trying to sing her heart out. Like, those three genres right there are 80% to maybe 90% of anime being made right now. So if you made anyone who wasn't that, they would be rare. What are we doing? He also continues to build on Latino representation. I'm not saying it. He's Latino. He's representing Latinos. There may be some Latinas who are like, oh, I like him, but he is representing Latino, not Latinx. Like, that is not... He is he in the show. Don't take that away from him. Representation in the Cyberpunk franchise. Yeah, by sticking them in the dumps and having his mom die. Like, that's the real crime against races right there. This time in a leading role capacity as opposed to being a love interest or a supporting cast member. Despite having achieved these milestones, David could still have benefited from acquiring V's highly sellable trait as a non-bino character for two reasons. First, it's incredibly rare for Latinx characters to be depicted as trans or non-binary in most media. Your main is usually female, but you always have at least one alt that's my candy. Yeah, that's turf battles. That was my first MMO. I was like, oh, I can make a couple characters. Oh, my main's gonna be this crazy big fire sorcerer that looks like, you know, my beefy dream me, basically, like what I would look like if I worked out every day, all day. And then my alt account is gonna be this big-a-booba sexy lady. You like to have something nice to look at for hours on end? Yeah, boy. First, it's incredibly rare for Latin characters to be depicted as trans or non-binary in most media. Could it be that it's just rare for trans or non-binary in general? And even that, I don't think is like hyper rare. But is this person... Oh, we don't have a... Oh. Oh! Oh! I'll explain everything shortly. Let's finish this article first. Second, it would have expanded the representation of gender non-conforming protags in the Cyberpunk franchise beyond V. Guess what? The Cyberpunk franchise is a tabletop RPG. You can make whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. It's role-playing. You'd write this entire article as a gigantic waste of your time. Well, guess who's not wasting their time? And I just learned something new. Another major selling point of V's character is that they are bisexual in both the male and female incarnations. This is highly significant, especially in the case of male V, as it challenges the norms of heterosexual male action heroes in RPGs. Guess what? Are they trolling and I just realized it? Ooh, it's better. Oh, it's so much better than that. In RPGs, You just program the dialogue tree for, like, you could woo this person or this thing. Like, you can woo other, like, races in some RPGs. And then if you change character, you can still do it, either one. Any character you make. It's how you make games. That's how games work. These people don't play games. These people don't play games. They troll. Their writing is shitty. I know. By making V bisexual in both incarnations, they are able to pursue romantic relationships with both male and female partners. In their male incarnation, V has a romantic relationship with a woman named Panam Palmer and a man named Carrie Aerodyne. What makes these relationships stand out from male V's flings is that he's emotionally invested in them and contacts them specifically when he's about to die. The same is true of female V with her romantic partners, Judy Alvarez and River Ward. Do they? Or is that literally just, like, based on how you played the games? Like male V, David could have similarly continued challenging the norm of heterosexual male protagonists by being depicted as bisexual as well. Why, though? But why? And when? The whole point... I said Pan Am. Like, the whole point of David was that he was like, I love Lucy, and I want to protect Lucy. I want Lucy to get Lucy Dream, right? And then we talked about our little lolly friend where we're like, oh yeah, this lolly's the one that's gonna make it like she's a potential. She's doing good lolly stuff. I like it. I'm down, right? If David was something like, oh, driver man, you shift the car so gently. Your steering hand is impeccable. Like that would be weird. That would be a weird thing because he doesn't like, we don't have other characters in the show. And I think if you tried to cram another one in, it just wouldn't function. Oh no, here it comes. Out of the entire cast of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, the only gender non-conforming character is Dorio, who is also Main's romantic partner. Once Main and Dorio are killed halfway through the anime, David's Edgerunner team is left without LGBTQIA representation. Dorio's straight! She's jacked! And like your traditional wrestling woman, like giant physique. But it's all artificial. They're all cyberpunks. They're all like got all kinds of robo stuff in them. So our Rebecca is all lolly because of the robot stuff. Dorio's all jacked because of the robo stuff. And when your boyfriend is Main, I think you need to be a little strong to push back against that. Like she doesn't even like make eyes at Kiwi or anything like that. There's not a single scene that says that she doesn't just love Main beyond everything. That frustrates me too. Just let the character be the character. She's not that. You're an idiot. Since Lucy eventually left David's team to pursue her own life path, this was the perfect opportunity to introduce a new love interest for David in the form of a same-sex partner. I mean, what do you call Rebecca? Becca's literally like, oh, here you go. Here's your alternate. Here's someone who's still caring for you. Here's someone who's still reaching out for you. We don't need to like, why? Why would we make the lolly into a dude? Like, that doesn't make sense. Instead of killing off Julio in his first appearance, for example, he could have fulfilled a similar role to V's. Carrie Aerodyne or Judy Alvarez in David's life. Yeah, but the point was that he was young and stupid. She didn't go down her own life path. Yeah, I don't know what they watched. She literally is like trying to protect David. That's the whole point. Why can't they just be friends? All in all, despite David breaking ground as a Latino protagonist in an anime series that spun off from the Cyberpunk 2077 video game. Right here's the problem. I found it, officer, right here. This is not an anime series that spun off from 2077. 2077 and Edgerunners are both cyberpunk things. This is an existing universe. Adam Smasher isn't just like oh yeah, the video game had Atom Smasher, so we're gonna make an Atom Smasher. It's like, no, Atom Smasher's been a character from the beginning. At the same time, the show's creators missed a huge opportunity to fully capitalize off these major selling points, and she's missing the 2 and the S. I gotta say, character by not continuing that trend with David. Okay, so I clicked her little thingy. She writes, women write about comics. She's on Shelf Dust Comics Bookcase. She's also the co-host of a thing. She's got her Oh, get out of here, Gundam! I don't want to be kissing your ass all night. She's got an Instagram linked. And her description on her Instagram literally says, bisexual, Latinx, non-binary writer, graphic designer, podcaster. I love comics, manga, film, and television. I love learning new languages. And then in kanji, it says konnichiwa. If you're non-binary, are you allowed to write for a website that's called Women Write About Comics? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand half of this anymore. Meanwhile, cringe back at the Hall of the Justice League. Oh my goodness. More like back at the halls of the Social Justice League, am I right? Oh my goodness. And you're back. Welcome back. You missed all the fun bits and parts and things. Oh goodness. Let's talk about anime I've watched. I watched the final episode of Vermeil in Gold. I stand by this being my sleeper hit of the season. I like that we end with the ability to continue on. But it still sort of has a good little wrap to it. But it's sort of that wrap that like it's a end of the story. Wink. Like I like that. I like that about it. Probably just use the pronouns to get work from these sites. Fly proud, you flag. Oh my goodness. Are we allowed to call them flags? Is that okay? Is that an okay thing to say? Anyway, yeah, Vermeil and Gold, just great. I think the one thing I wish is that I just had more, and I wish that the arc that we've sort of traveled on, more or less ended in like 12 or 20 episodes or 22 episodes, right? You'll skip 6 episodes and give it a chance. Hold on, let me double check the correct episode because I don't want you to skip over the important episode. Okay. 1 minute. I'll find this. Ba-da-ba-da. Ba-ba-da-bum. Okay, yeah. You could watch episode 5, but episode 6, yeah, you're correct. Skip to episode 6. As long as you say which flag. What if I just want to call them flags? What if they can just be flags? I think that's all right. They want to put a lot of flags in their names and their bios, then they're flag people. You never seen a bunch of flags running around? Okay. So that's that. Where's next? Coolio has died. So Coolio is now in Gangster's Paradise. So a moment of silence. Pour one out for an OG. You were in middle school and I was in middle school, and then you know what he meant. What he meant to the world. Really. Really truly. It truly did. But we do Death is $22 away from hitting 69K. That's funny. I like that. I like that. That makes me happy. I love it when people get the recognition they deserve in a way that, you know, we recognize people with money in today's era, so that just comes with that territory. Time has come. Oh, all right. Welcome to Spoilers for Chainsaw Man Chapter 20. Assuming that the anime does about 3 to 4 chapters per episode, this will probably be the end of the fifth episode of the anime, which I think, based on what has occurred and how many chapters don't have anything happening in them, this arc actually better be episode 4. And you could do a 4 to 5, I guess. But yeah, this needs to come early because this is the first thing that's felt important and that we were doing something, and then it ends up not my review of chapter 19 still stands. It's just wow, this would be really cool to see if it was an anime. But the entire purpose of this weird JoJo stand style power is that we have some clever way to figure out the answer. How are we gonna get around this one? And when the answer is just keep punching, cool. I could watch literally any other show about punching that punches better than this is doing, story wise, right? When the answer is just keep punching, keep slicing, keep chainsawing, keep cutting, that's not a fun puzzle. That's literally the most base instinct. And it's supposed to be keep punching, and then punching doesn't work. And then it's well, I'll just keep on punching. And it's okay. Not really excited about that. But we did it. We kept punching last episode, and this episode, we finally get to exit. And they got a new piece of the gun devil, and everybody was wow, whoa, that was amazing. It's pretty crazy. And then they decided to go out for drinks. So I am excited for a drink episode. I like the after work hangout. I like the enjoyment episodes. I like Watamote is a fantastic anime. It's a short, so each episode's 5 minutes long, and it's about Watamote, the business lady in Japan who after work goes to a miscellaneous bar in town, gets herself a drink, and gets herself the best food that the chef can make. They even made a live action about it, which was really fantastic. I think the live action is on Netflix. And the live action's great because all of the random bars she goes to, they highlight at the end as a little travel show. Here's the bar. So they have the really short episode, and they have the last 10-15 minutes is here's the bar we went to, and here's the owner, and here he is making the food, and here how it is. And it's it's really fun. I like that aspect. I like those episodes. The a little more slow down slice of life, but like at the same time, even though we've slowed down and we're not like actively fighting an enemy, we're all still talking and learning and enjoying and figuring people out. I like these kind of episodes. So whatever this ends up being, episode 5 or 6, then I'm excited for stuff like that. I quite enjoy these. It's punch harder. It's not punch harder though. It literally is not punch harder. It's just punch more. That's the answer. That's the answer to clever we can't get out of void space. Well, just keep punching. Has it worked yet? Nope. Well, keep it up. Like, you know, it's like grandpa's watching the kids and he needs to tire him out, and so he's like, yeah, well, grandpa, my hand hurts, I can't cut down the tree by punching it. Well, just keep punching, all right? Like, you know, it's not like an actual solution. Like, the solution is use a sharper tool. Then Bladen goes to the bar on his trip over. I'm trying to remember if I have actually visited one of the bars from Watamote. I feel like one of the episodes, because we were trying to keep track, we were like writing down what the bars were and everything, and we came across one that we had been to previously, and it was like, whoa, like stars aligning. It was just amazing. I love that stuff. But the beautiful thing about Japan is, like, I try to explain to people. So I explain to people who are in Washington, so this will probably only make sense for me and people who are closer. I'm done with Chainsaw Man. Spoilers. It's a fine episode. It's interesting. We'll figure it out. I want to talk more about Japan travel. Before I have to wrap up the episode. All right. Tokyo, like the main districts of Tokyo, like Ikebukuro, Shibuya, Akihabara, you know, all of the main precincts of Tokyo are half the size of King County. So King County, where I live, is like not a huge county, but you know, it picture something about half the size of like a state county, and now put twice the population of our entire state in that one half of a county. It's crazy how many people and how many things there are in Tokyo. Like, when you walk past a building, you walked past 20 or 30 different businesses because they just stack them on top of each other and go underground. So you have to really look at the signs next to all these elevators and staircases and everything. And it's like, there's just so much stuff. So like, no matter how many times I go, there's always something I haven't been to, haven't gone to, a restaurant I didn't stop at, because every block has a 50 billion different restaurants, and it's super fun. Hopefully a beach episode. I'd like to get a beach episode. This exact one is it's an izakaya, so it's like a Japanese bar where they have like the little, like the side room sort of booth areas in the back with like the shoji. You take your shoes off and you sit down on the ground with everybody. If you've seen Rent a Girlfriend, like it's not the opening scene, is it? Is it the opening scene where they're at the little, like, the drinking group, the little, like, party group or whatever? Maybe it's later on in the series they go to the bar or whatever. But it's that sort of idea that you see in like Rent a Girlfriend. I love it. I love that stuff. I love it so much. Thank you, Thank you all for joining me. Like I said, today's a Wednesday, which means a hyphenated night. Tomorrow is a Thursday, which means an unhyphenated night. And I intend to bring this same kind of energy that we have tonight, over to tomorrow. Not the piss poor energy that I had yesterday. I don't know who that was or what that was, but more of this. You know what it is? I shaved the length off, and then tomorrow I'll be shaving the stubble down. And I've just got there's more breathability around my face now. So I'm a little less, I'm getting the oxygen intake that I need. It's not all getting sorted through this weak goatee. I can actually get the goatee out of my way so I can breathe and enjoy my night. So I'm I'm gonna be even hotter and sweatier tomorrow. So we'll have a great one. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Thank you for chatting. We went on some roller coasters today. We learned about dubs. We learned about union dubs and how people say things, but don't say the whole truth, because if you say the whole truth, you might not get what you want said. And we learned about what did we learn about? Oh, we learned that people inject themselves into shows without reason and then complain about that show not having them in it, and it's very strange. Try hard? What did I try hard at? Use some minty aftershave. Well, I have to shave first, so I had there isn't, the next time is tomorrow, so it's not like an thing. I usually do the there's the Art of Shaving. I like their shave cream or whatever it is, because it's not like that canned whip stuff. It's actually like a foaming lotion or whatever. I don't know. It leaves my skin feeling better, as opposed to like a Barbasol or something where it leaves my skin feeling like I shaved with a stick. Trying to look presentable and attractive. Yeah, there's only one person I try to impress, and they I'm convinced would love me if I chopped my jaw off. So I do everything I can to reach the peak of looking good for them. And she's my wife, so there's no questions about who I'm talking about. But yeah, a lot of it is like, she loves my long hair, she likes my short hair, so it's sort of just whenever I get tired of having long hair, then she's down. So am I. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of your night, everyone. I will catch you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific time right here for Blaine's Escape Corner. And if you're looking for a little something extra, you haven't quite heard enough about the fall season that's coming up / started, join me tomorrow at 9 a.m. with the anime guy, so that we can talk about the new season, the fall 2022 season, and all the best anime that are coming up therein. And I will catch you later. Take this quiz to find out if you're dating or married to a yandere. 90% sure I'm married to a yandere. That is true. That is 100% true. Kanpai, everyone.